This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Forced to flee. An overnight fire destroys a Middle Sackville apartment building.
Anti-Semitic graffiti. Vandals deface 2 Halifax synagogues and a center for Jewish teachings.
And rental wage. How much you need to make an hour to afford a one-bedroom in Halifax.
High pressure continues to dominate across the region this week with lots of sunshine and temperatures more like summer. Your full forecast is coming up.
A 4-story apartment complex in Middle Sackville has suffered major damage from an overnight fire. Flames could be seen shooting from the top of the Hanwell Drive building where about 180 people live.
No injuries have been reported, but as Gareth Hampshire tells us, they had to leave quickly when alarms began to ring throughout the building.
It was just after midnight on Monday when fire crews got the call to the Sunset View apartment in Middle Sackville. Cell phone video showed the roof fully engulfed in flames. Many of the approximately 180 residents already sleeping were awakened by alarms.
My alarm went off, and I looked outside. It was right foggy looking outside, so I just stuck my head out the door, and near the end of the building was on fire.
Sean Verge, his wife and 3 children scrambled out of the building and were taken by bus to a nearby evacuation center where the Red Cross are registering displaced residents.
Just people running through the hallways, banging on the doors, telling people get up and get out. And so we all just went down the stairs and just went out.
With a strong smell of smoke throughout the building, there wasn't time for people to gather their belongings. Mike Wallace's 87-year-old mother fled her unit without stopping to think.
She left literally with the shirt on her back. She had found a sweater and a pair of pants, and off she went. No glasses, no cell phone. She didn't think to take her cell phone, and she left the building that way.
About 65 firefighters and 16 trucks responded to the complex. Strong winds made their job even more difficult.
They found fire extending up through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor right up into the roof. So as crews arrived, there was fair bit of wind. Wind took it up to the roof and did quite a bit of damage to the building.
He's now trying to find out the extent of the damage to the family home. His family can stay with his brother for now, but his long-term concern is finding somewhere else to live.
I can't believe I was in my house asleep and now I got nothing, right?
Fire officials say the 4th floor suffered severe damage, but also report heavy water damage on the floors beneath. They say it appears the fire started on the 1st or 2nd floor, but their investigation is in the early stages. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Middle Sackville.
And we have a short update on another fire now. More residents who have been evacuated from their homes because of the Long Lake wildfire will be able to go back home on Tuesday. Another 17 addresses in the Annapolis County area have been cleared to return, but several other locations are still not safe for re-entry, as it is still an active wildfire.
2 synagogues and a center for Jewish teachings in Halifax were defaced with anti-Semitic graffiti this weekend. A warning for viewers, this story contains images and details which some may find disturbing. Vernon Ramasar has the story.
Sometime between Saturday evening and Sunday morning, someone used black spray paint on the entrances of the Beth Israel and Shar Shalom synagogues and the Chabad Lubavitch Family Institute. The words, "Jews did 9/11, were painted on all 3 buildings, which are within a few blocks of each other. A swastika was also painted on the Shar Shalom synagogue. By Sunday afternoon, all that remained of that graffiti had been washed off. Rabbis for both synagogues say the messages represent a disturbing hatred of Jews, but they're not entirely surprised. They say they've seen a rise in anti-Semitism in Canada.
We have to stand up as Jews and part of the community as a whole and say we are not going to be afraid, we are not going to sort of run away in fear, but we're still proud to be Jews. And I think we have to realize that there's the hatred, and we call it anti-Semitism, but the truth is it's just pure Jew hatred.
The incidents happened after days of peaceful protests in the city against Israeli participation in the Davis Cup tennis tournament. The graffiti at the synagogues in Halifax has been reported to police, and a spokesperson for the Centre for Israel and Jewish Affairs says he hopes the issue is taken seriously. Premier Tim Houston called the incident disgraceful. Vernon Ramasar, CBC News, Halifax.
And police in Halifax are asking for the public's help to identify a suspect they believe is connected to the incidents of anti-Semitic graffiti over the weekend. Halifax police responded to 6 incidents of racist graffiti on Sunday. Anyone with information about the person shown is asked to contact police. And Ryan Snoddon with us now from the CBC Weather Centre.
And another summer-like day out there.
Yeah, it really was. And more summer-like weather over the next few days. Listen, fall doesn't officially kick in for another week or so, but usually by this time it's starting to feel a little more fall-like than this. You can see temperatures back in the 20 to 24 degree range on Tuesday. Light northerly flow will keep temps a bit cooler across Cape Breton, but most of the mainland into that 22 to 24 range with those light winds. Now, looking ahead to our future tracker, you can see the high pressure area that just continues to dominate, and really nothing's getting in. The active storm track is to our south and another active storm track to our northwest, and we're sandwiched in between with this dry weather continuing. Now, we will see a bit of cloud cover in the mix for Wednesday, but that looks to be high cloud cover, so I'm still expecting a mainly sunny day. Ahead of the front that will be approaching for late week, we'll see some increasing clouds on Thursday. Maybe a shower Thursday evening into the overnight. Then this front will bring a few showers in the mix for Friday. And behind that, it will feel like fall. Friday night into Saturday. We'll talk about that coming up with your full 7-day in just a few minutes.
Yeah, those details on the way. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, Halifax Water has acknowledged that its request to raise water bills amounts to a rate shock. And it is looking to raise the average home water bill by more than 30% over 2 years. The matter before the Nova Scotia Regulatory Board began today. The CBC's Haley Ryan has more.
Halifax Water is facing hard questions about why they feel a major rate hike is justified. The utility has asked the Nova Scotia Regulatory and Appeals Board to approve a 16% increase for the average residential bill this fiscal year and another 17% next year. That would be about 33% within just a few months. When asked if they considered this as rate shock, the CEO of Halifax Water said it could be seen that way, given the size of the increase over a short period of time.
They haven't looked closely enough at what impact this would have, especially on low-income households, especially on single-family households.
Halifax Water says the move is needed because they are facing a growing deficit with large projects expected in the next few years. Roberts says that is understandable, but it's up to the utility to spread out those debt payments over time to avoid this kind of hike. The province of Nova Scotia, Killam Apartments, businesses and other landlord advocates are interveners in the matter and say they are worried about the impact of such a raise.
This will cause rents to rise. There is a lot of pressure on rents. Halifax Water and water rates are just one component, but we're facing higher power rates, higher insurance rates, and higher rates for just about everything.
The board says it has received more than 2,000 letters about the proposed increase. The hearing runs through the rest of this week. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Halifax.
Halifax is exploring the idea of raising deed transfer taxes to help with big-ticket projects. More than $2 billion in capital projects are slated for the next 4 years. The 1.5% tax is applied to every property sale in the city. Last week, Council agreed to have staff look at changing the model. Councillor Sam Austin says a tiered system makes sense.
If you're buying, a $2 million property, I think you can afford a higher for a tax rate than if you're paying $400,000 for a pretty modest, side of a duplex. And so it would make sense to me to tax those sales differently, right? Have a lower threshold on the lower value property and a higher threshold on the higher value property.
Annual revenue from the tax has ranged from $65 to $70 million in the last couple of years. The province controls deed transfer tax rates, so any changes would need to be approved by the PC government. Recent analysis from a think tank looked at how much money you'd need to make to afford 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments in Halifax. And as Andrew Lamb reports, some renters are struggling to make ends meet.
A recent report says you needed to make about $27 an hour working full-time to afford the average one-bedroom Halifax apartment in 2024. That's more than $10 higher than the minimum wage. This renter recently worked a job paying $27 an hour and says it's not a living wage for students.
And while I was still able to make my rent, it wasn't enough to make me feel financially stable, especially going into the school year when you can't work full-time.
The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives think tank also looked at newer data to estimate the wage needed if you were looking for a new apartment. For the first 3 months of 2025 in Halifax, that was about $34 an hour to afford a one-bedroom unit, the 9th highest out of 39 cities. For a two-bedroom, it was about $43. This renter says the idea of having to find a new place to rent is immensely scary.
It's gotten to the point where I am wary of reporting issues in the apartment, lest in case the landlord uses it as an excuse to rent evict. So we try to deal with issues that we have in the apartment without reaching out to the landlord about it.
Turpin wants to move toward living in a one-bedroom, but says there's no way he could afford it.
We're paying about $1,000 a month each, but still very frustrating to be spending $1,000 a month and sharing a bathroom with 3 other people.
This economist says raising the minimum wage could help with rental affordability, but there's a challenge with it applying to areas big and small.
So maybe we could have some flexibility to allow larger cities that have the most pressures on their rental markets to have higher minimum wages to adjust for that.
Still, Lee says it's unrealistic to think minimum wages could rise fully to the levels needed, and that there need to be more government investments in non-market and public housing.
Similar to what we did in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of the affordable rental stock still is a legacy of investments that were made back then.
Nova Scotia's minimum wage rose to $15.70 an hour in April, and it will go up again to $16.50 on October 1st. Andrew Lamb, CBC News, Halifax.
Nova Scotia teachers wanting to attend conferences for professional development will not be able to travel to the United States. As trade concerns continue, the province has asked that these development opportunities happen outside of the U.S. The union president says professional development helps teachers keep pace with the evolving needs of their students.
There are ones that are put on in the United States that, they're world-class events. But at the same time, we recognize what this looks like and us being a part of professional development opportunities and learning opportunities for our members, that we take into account what is available to teachers and what's appropriate to go to.
Day says there is no timeline for how long this approach will remain in place. With winter not far off, Nova Scotia is making a push for more snowplow operators. Public Works is hosting job fairs across the province this fall as the department faces an aging workforce.
I mean, it's important to have this job fair right now. Looking for new operators to join our teams and also help out with the snow and ice operations that we have throughout the upcoming season. And it's also to just recruit new staff and pretty much kind of supply our fleet, right? So
we need to increase our recruiting numbers. At the moment, Halifax and Nova Scotia has a lack of qualified plow drivers, and we are trying to make sure we have enough for this upcoming winter season. When they get stretched to the limit, it does become a safety issue. So being able to give the guys a break would be, a major help to be able to keep our roads safe, as well as our own employees rested and ready to go.
I've been interested in working with machineries right here because my dad, he used to be an engineer. They always strike me as cool, so I think, I think for everybody, we always want to have a cool job, right? So I think this is a good change of pace for me. The hiring process isn't done yet, so if I can get all the requirements needed within the next couple of weeks, then I could always submit my resume or my qualifications. My love language is acts of service, and Halifax has been nothing but kind to me. Canada has been nothing but kind to us, me and my wife. So I think this is my way of repaying the community, is just to plow some snow, and what better way is to get paid for it, right? So.
Well, thankfully, no snow out there just yet, right?
None yet, that's true.
Ryan's up next with his weather forecast. We'll see you in a bit.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
All right, Ryan back with us now for your weather forecast, and been kind of quiet on the weather front.
And that means not a lot of rain.
Not a lot of rain, not a lot of much needed rain, so the quiet stretch continues. We'll see a few showers in the mix late this week. That will bring a reset temperature-wise back into the teens, which will feel chilly this weekend. But yeah, very midsummer-ish over the next couple of days, which is, above where we should be for this time of year because, of course, we are in the middle of September now, which... a little update here, that we are more than halfway through the hurricane season. We're kind of coming down on the other side of the peak of hurricane season, but still in the heart of things and lots of time for things to change over the next few weeks. And just a quick update, there's the latest National Hurricane Center outlook, which is giving that cluster of storms you see there with the X marked over it, a 50% chance of development over the next 2 days, 90% chance over the next 7 days. So pretty good likelihood that will become the next storm, and we will be watching that obviously right now. Most of the models seem to be trending that one offshore for what it's worth, which it's worth a lot, of course, so we'll keep you posted with that. Still very, very early days. Now, as we look at the beautiful webcam shot, back row, and beautiful, beautiful evening there. Another live shot courtesy of our Nova Scotia webcam friends. And yes, a terrific evening there in the southwest of Nova Scotia. 18 degrees right now. Back row and also at Yarmouth, 20 at Shelburne. Temperatures a bit cooler today across Cape Breton with that northwesterly flow. Temperatures 17 to 19 there. We're into the low 20s at this hour across the rest of the mainland. And you can see those winds have been in the 10 to 20 range through for the most part today, and some gusts upwards of 30 at last check at Port Hawkesbury. Now, Weather Systems map shows, yes, some cloud cover has been in the mix for Cape Breton today. Generally, it's been a mostly sunny day under this ridge. That active storm track continues off to our south and also off to the north. And we're just in this dry holding pattern at the moment. But this is the front that will bring some more fall-like weather wrapping in on the other side of this system. Temperatures, you can see, still okay in the prairies right now, but it will cool down as that front wraps in some cooler air off to the north. Just 4 degrees in Iqaluit right now. Closer to home for tonight. Temperatures for our overnight lows are generally going to be in the 8 to 12 range, but we could see some pockets dip down into the 4 or 5 range in and around the eastern parts of the mainland and the northeast. So if you're in a low-lying area, be mindful that mid-single digits are a possibility, but it looks like any frost will stay at bay as we turn the page into tomorrow morning. Indeed, it is going to be a mostly sunny day. Fog patches will be a key part of the forecast again tomorrow morning, and those heavy fall dews that we've been seeing, fall-like dews, as we look into the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. It is going to be another really nice day. I know we need the rain, but if you've got some outdoor plans, this is looking pretty good. Temperatures high teens, low 20s. Back into the eastern mainland, temperatures in the 20 to 23 range. Our best chance of cracking 23, 24 degrees will be in and around central areas here around Cobequid Bay, and our best chance of cracking 25 will be in and around the Keji area for tomorrow. 24 Greenwood back towards Kentville. Now, looking ahead to Wednesday, that area of high pressure migrates off to the east. Some high cloud cover in the mix for Wednesday, but overall another terrific day. Looks like temperatures will range between about 22 to 26 in most cases. And then we'll see some clouds building back in on Thursday as well. Isolated chance for showers approaching ahead of the front for Thursday night. And the actual front looks set to sail through Thursday night into Friday with a pretty good chance for showers. Unfortunately, it looks like the best chance for showers is going to be in the east. Cape Breton, the Northumberland Shore region, and that will continue into Friday night. Now, Saturday, it looks like a chance for some lingering showers in the east. Cape Breton, maybe the North Shore, coming in off the Gulf with those cooler temperatures aloft. That will likely just get some activity going there. And then temperatures bumping up again into early next week. But no sign of that major weather maker that we're all waiting for. But we will, of course, keep you posted, Tom and Amy.
We continue to wait. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Coming up, I'll speak with the rabbi of one of the two synagogues that was defaced with anti-Semitic graffiti over the weekend about how the community is reacting to these incidents. This is one of two synagogues in downtown Halifax that was vandalized over the weekend. This is the Beth Israel synagogue, and there has been spray painting done here. It has since been removed, but this synagogue, another synagogue, and another building was vandalized, and there's many people describing it as disturbing, including Rabbi Yaakov Kerzner here, who, Rabbi, I know this has obviously been a difficult 48 hours for you, but you've had some time to think about it. How are you feeling about what transpired?
Well, it's quite disturbing, obviously, and we want to make sure that this doesn't create fear within the Jewish community and within our synagogue. And I think it's important that we have to stand up as Jews and part of the community as a whole and say we are not going to be afraid. We are not going to sort of run away in fear, but we're still proud to be Jews. And I think we have to realize that there's the hatred, and we call it anti-Semitism. But the truth is, it's just pure Jew hatred. And there's this sense of inversion almost, where things which happen to us, for example, 9/11, the fellow who wrote this on the wall said Jews did 9/11. it's obvious lie. It's obviously conspiracy theory. But the problem today is that people are believing things which they shouldn't believe. Social media has created an environment where whatever somebody wants to say is taken seriously, and there's enough people to accept that as fact.
This happened, as we say, in multiple locations around the city, targeting Jewish buildings or structures. How unusual is that? Or are you noticing something changing here in terms of the tone or the amount of this that you're seeing?
Well, we've been lucky until now that there hasn't been anything as direct as this. But there's a general rise of anti-Semitism, as you know, throughout the world, North America, Canada, and across the street at Dalhousie University. There's just a sense that Jewish students don't feel as safe as they used to be. There's this conflation of whatever's happening in Israel to Jews, and there's a sense that we feel that we're being targeted. And
well, so tell me about that. You mentioned the situation between Israel and Palestine. How much of that do you think plays into this? I don't expect you to get into the mind of the person who did this damage. We don't know who that is or exactly what they were thinking. But in terms of generally speaking, that situation, that political situation, how much do you feel that may be contributing to this sentiment?
I think to a large extent. Anti-Semitism existed before. Since the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, we've been more vigilant. We've upped our security. But in the last couple of years, it's obviously gotten much worse. And I believe the Davis Cup was in town. Sadly, it's hard to understand. We couldn't even watch the game because there's a problem of security. That doesn't happen in other communities. And that awareness and the protests that were going on probably excited enough people that somebody had the audacity and the nerve to come and deface our synagogue.
Yeah, you're not devaluing debate or conversation about this, but acts like this, you're saying, are completely uncalled for, and as you say, completely misguided.
Yes, there's always room for discussion and debate, but I think there's a large distortion. And I would hate to say this, but the media is also partly responsible for distorting a lot of the facts that are going on in Israel, and then it gets conflated with Jews worldwide. And then the rise of anti-Semitism, which seems to have been latent, is sort of rising to the surface once again.
So you take issue with some of the media coverage or some of the response to what's happening in that part of the world. But what do you say to the people who look at that situation and say, it's hard, it's very difficult for them to understand why that is happening or to justify that that's happening?
Well, we don't want to necessarily get into the weeds now about what's going on in Israel and Gaza, but the truth is, there's much more attention paid to what's happening in Israel. Now, the Uyghurs are being attacked by the Chinese, and I don't see people attacking or criticizing Chinese people in the streets because of what's happening in the Uyghurs. How much attention in the media is there to the fact that 1 million Uyghurs are being put into literally concentration camps in China? So there's a lot of attention going on in relationship to Israel. There's a famous book not so long ago by Dara Horn called People Love Dead Jews. And sadly, that seems to be the fact, that when there's an attack on Jews, when there's graffiti, we get attention. When we have a rally supporting what's Israel and release of the hostages, we had the media here, but it wasn't reported in the media. That was kind of sad. It showed our compassion and our feeling for Jews and for hostages, and it wasn't recognized. We're only being recognized for that which plays in a negative light.
Right, and not to get down in the weeds in this at all, but you would argue, or you would agree, that Israeli government events are very much covered by the media. I mean, the approach of Benjamin Netanyahu and others, that is being covered by the media.
But out of proportion to what's going on in the world at large. And there's a distortion. There was once a report, I think there was 85 international representatives of the media in Israel compared to like a handful in all of Africa way back when, right? So we have to ask, why is there so much attention to what's going on in Israel? And why are the facts distorted to a large degree? And that's how I think that's what plays into anti-Semitism.
And it's a very long, we could talk for a long time about what's distorted, what's not distorted. But the fact is that we are seeing things like this spray painting of synagogues in this city. What do you do next? as a rabbi, as a community here, to try and cope or deal with this kind of thing, or try to prevent it from happening?
Well, we just have to support our own community, our own congregation, and I would say that it's heartening to hear that the mayor has reached out, our representative, the MLA has reached out. There are many people who are reaching out down the street. Somebody came down from the church down the street, wanted to help wash off the graffiti. So there is an outpouring of kindness in the community also, but overall, we see the rise of the hatred much more, and we have to have a little bit more of education out there, both in the media at large, in the universities, in the schools. There has to be an understanding of what's going on to a degree that's enough to understand the nuances of what's going on, rather than just suffering and who someone's responsible and someone's not. It's always black and white, and it's not so simple.
Okay, on that note, we are out of time. I do appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for speaking to me.
Coming up, Parliament has opened its fall sitting, marking the first time Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre have squared off since Poilievre's by-election win.
And tensions are running right after a massive anti-immigration protest in London over the weekend that turned violent. MPs are back in the House of Commons, kicking off the fall sitting.
It was the first question period showdown between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre since the Conservative leader's by-election win last month. Olivia Stefanovich brings us that story.
How do you feel going into this question period?
A new sitting, a new face-off in the House of Commons.
Questions orales, oral questions, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, back after regaining a seat in a summer by-election.
My mother taught me never to be late, so please forgive me for my late arrival to the session.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I speak for all parliamentarians in welcoming the member for Battle River Crowfoot back to the House of Commons.
Up against Prime Minister Mark Carney in question period for the first time.
So a trivia question. Can the Prime Minister tell us, has there ever been a Prime Minister who has successfully doubled the deficit without even introducing a budget?
Mr. Speaker, this government is undertaking the biggest investment in protecting Canadians in the Canadian military.
There's a lot more debt is what there is, Mr. Speaker. A lot more debt than we ever imagined would be possible.
Challenging the Prime Minister on the federal government's finances.
We need to be clear about the scale of the crisis we are in. We need to be clear about the scale of investment that we need.
And a substantial deficit projected in Carney's first budget.
The amount which seems to be anticipated, $100 billion, is so huge that I need to see what's in it.
I'm very concerned. How do we commit to 5% more military spending without a budget and without a plan? And why 5%? Because Trump says so?
We will need a plan of job creation, good jobs, unionized jobs, and also a real housing plan.
With the Liberals still 3 seats short of a majority, the government has no choice but to listen to those concerns and work with other parties to fulfill its ambitious agenda and pass its budget. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Immigration has re-emerged as the most explosive political issue in the UK. It sparked a massive anti-immigration protest in London over the weekend that turned violent. Chris Brown reports from London.
There's a new battle on the streets of Britain, fought with flags and calls for deportations and fear-mongering about immigrants.
It is a problem because we don't know who they are, we don't know the past criminal record, we don't know the past history, and they're committing some heinous crimes.
This London rally over the weekend, led by the far-right Tommy Robinson, drew up to 150,000 people. Driving the anger is the ongoing illegal arrival of migrants across the Channel. The £2 billion it costs a year to house asylum seekers in neighborhood hotels while they're banned from working has fueled the backlash.
They walk around in gangs, you're not safe because you're usually on your own, but they're always in groups of at least 5.
The anger isn't only directed at asylum seekers, it's at people who've come here legally too. The perception of weak borders helped propel the United Kingdom out of the European Union. But 4 years after Brexit, legal immigration has soared.
On average, the UK netted roughly 250,000 immigrants a year prior to Brexit. But by 2023, in a post-COVID push to stimulate the economy, the Conservatives let the number soar to over 906,000. Reform UK and its leader Nigel Farage have capitalized on the discord by pushing mass deportations and is surging in the polls. Britain's Labour government has tightened rules, especially for students and healthcare workers, and vows to do more.
There is a degree of racism underpinning this.
This professor says immigration numbers are falling quickly to more traditional levels.
It's all mixed up. All of our social and economic problems are blamed by some people on, the migrants in the country.
The worry from the business community is that the economic impact of cutting skilled immigrants could be bad for the UK if the government tries too hard to appease the critical voices. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
In Ukraine, efforts are underway to identify the remains of thousands killed on the front line. In June, the country received more than 6,000 bodies repatriated from Russia under a deal struck in Turkey. CBC's Briar Stewart was in the southern Ukrainian city of Dnipro, where forensic investigators are overwhelmed and families desperate for answers. But a warning, this story includes images of human remains.
This cemetery in Dnipro speaks to the fact that this war has been grinding on for more than 3.5 years, and there's a growing number of dead. Now, this is a part in the cemetery that is reserved for soldiers who have not been identified, but who have been buried here. They're marked by simple wooden crosses. On this, it says there's somebody that's temporarily unidentified. There is a date, which is believed to be the date that they died, and then a date that they have been buried. And this whole little area of the cemetery where I'm standing, I mean, these are mostly unidentified people in the ground. But unidentified for now is what officials say, because there's a lot of work underway to try to identify people, being able to give a certain amount of closure to families, but to give people a proper burial as well. We know that tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in the conflict so far, and that in recent weeks, Ukraine has received an even greater number of remains back from Russia, because one of the things to come out of the limited negotiations that have been taking place between Russia and Ukraine so far is the fact that each side promised to repatriate up to 6,000 remains. A lot of those remains were brought back into the country by train and distributed to morgues across the country, and there's a real effort by forensic teams to identify the dead. Family members have been coming in. They're looking through pictures, some of them very disturbing, obviously, but also looking at pictures of things like watches and necklaces, trying to, see if there's an item that they recognize. There's also testing underway for DNA, and you have family members coming in doing a swab because they believe that their loved one is missing. This scene that we're seeing here in the cemetery speaks to that, because you can see these dates. Some of these bodies sat for a couple of years before they were buried because there was work underway to identify them. And this is just one cemetery in one corner of Ukraine. And this is something that the entire country has been dealing with and has been dealing with for over 3 years. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Dnipro.
Arab leaders have held an emergency summit in a show of support for Qatar. The meeting is in response to Israel's airstrike last week in Doha, targeting Hamas leaders. The attack inside the territory of a U.S. ally triggered widespread condemnation. Meanwhile, Trump's top diplomat traveled to Israel for talks before heading to Qatar. The CBC's Sasha Petrusik has the latest from Jerusalem.
For all the criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump toward Israel over that bombing of Doha last week, there really wasn't much tension or animosity in evidence when U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met for 3 hours and then held a news conference. In fact, the two men were falling over each other, emphasizing what a strong relationship the two countries had, with Netanyahu saying that it's never been better, the alliance is as strong as it's ever been, and Rubio saying that Israel has the United States' unwavering support.
We are focused on what happens now, what happens next, what role can Qatar play possibly in reaching an outcome here that leads not just to the end of this hostilities, not just to the release of all of the hostages, both living and deceased, not just the disarmament and elimination of Hamas, but also a better future for the people of Gaza.
The U.S. wants Qatar to continue playing the role of mediator, trying to find a negotiated settlement to the Gaza war, and Qatar has agreed to do that. As for Israel, Netanyahu says he reserves the right to go after, to target Hamas militants wherever they may be, and that could mean hitting Qatar all over again. Now, in Qatar, this emergency summit of Arab leaders was getting underway today with a lot of strong words against Israel. Accusations that it is trying to make Gaza unlivable, that it is causing a genocide, that there is starvation there because of its actions, and ethnic cleansing as well. And as a result of all of this, it says Israel is being cowardly and treacherous and causing the potential for a break between the Arab world and Israel. In any case, Rubio is on his way to Doha next to try to smooth out these differences. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
With colder months right around the corner, many Canadians are turning their attention to house hunting, and some markets are picking up more steam than others. Nisha Patel breaks down the latest numbers.
Home sales in Canada have been trending higher for 5 months in a row, but they're up just slightly compared to the same time a year ago. The average benchmark price in August hitting about $687,000, down 3.5% from 2024.
I think the real action is going to be in the fall, but certainly it shows that things are spooling up.
While higher mortgage rates and trade war uncertainty have kept many Canadians on the sidelines, there's now more inventory for sale, luring some prospective buyers into the market with the opportunity to be more choosy.
If it's 500 square feet, you're going to have a hard time selling it. If it's a 4,000 square foot McMansion, you might have a hard time selling it. But anything that's sort of 1,000 square feet to 1,500, that's a reasonable, affordable family type home, I think those will do well.
Much of the market action depends on the type of housing and where it's located. Areas that were historically very cheap continue to see higher demand and higher prices, like Quebec City, Montreal, and Halifax. But the condo market in southern Ontario is experiencing a deep downturn, with prices in cities like Barrie and London down double digits compared to last year. And after months of heated sales, Calgary's market appears to be cooling. Sales are down 11% from a year ago. Prices dipping slightly too.
Sellers have to be realistic in their pricing, and buyers have to realize that good locations are still selling. So, there's a balanced market.
As the summer season ends, experts say more Canadians will go house hunting, and sales could pick up in the fall, especially if the Bank of Canada lowers its benchmark interest rate later this week. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
The Apple TV comedy The Studio emerged victorious Sunday night at the 2025 Emmys. The hit show, with many Canadians behind it, took home 13 awards. The CBC's Ali Chiasson reports.
And now the Emmy for lead actor in a comedy series goes to Seth Rogen, The Studio.
Vancouver's own Seth Rogen won 4 Emmys. Not bad for a first-time winner.
I've never won anything in my life. This is going to be perfect.
Rogen's Apple TV show, The Studio, is a satire on the Hollywood movie-making business. Co-produced by his longtime collaborator and fellow Canadian, Evan Goldberg, it broke the record for most Emmys won by a comedy in its first season, taking home 13 of them.
It brought me back to the night where we won all the Emmys.
In 2020, it was Schitt's Creek taking home the same trophies, but that was as CanCon as it comes.
Sound speed. Back row.
So is it still a win for Canada, even if the show is technically an American production?
There's math to determine if something's Canadian or not.
For example, to be considered CanCon, a production needs to earn a minimum number of points by having Canadian directors, screenwriters, performers, and a majority of production costs must be paid to Canadians or Canadian companies.
I kind of step back from all of that. And you look at somebody like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, they grew up in Canada. They have Canada really just baked into who they are. So, for me, their sensibility is a Canadian sensibility, and they've brought it to this global show.
There's zero margin for error on this shot.
Action, please. There's also Canadian icons Catherine O'Hara and director Sarah Polley, too. But the Canadiana in The Studio goes beyond its creators and cast.
This is a show that's infiltrated from top to bottom with Canadians that are using this vehicle as a way to show the nuances of Hollywood in a way that I think Americans could never quite see for themselves.
We don't make artsy films.
It's a behind-the-scenes comedy poking fun at the eccentricities of the ego-driven Hollywood movie-making business.
There's like a level of separation there that this team has really eyed in a really specific way that obviously was rewarded last night.
We're under! Thank you! Under.
Not bad for 2 childhood friends from Vancouver. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Energy stocks helped Canada's main stock index close higher today, while U.S. markets reached new levels. Here's a look at some of the numbers as we head to break.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
All right, no, it's not true for everyone, but my grass is back. Had to cut it on the weekend.
Yeah, a lot of lawnmowers going on the weekend.
Yeah,
Ours
I
too.
cut mine as well for the first time in 2 months.
Isn't that
so
wild?
it is
very unusual.
Wild, and I'm sure there's folks who still haven't cut their grass in a couple of months. Let's have a look at our viewer picture of the day. It's a beautiful one. Over the weekend, the Northern Lights were visible, and this one from Port Howe.
Oh, they sure were visible.
That
Holy
is
cow.
gorgeous.
From Philomene, and this, she says, also making an appearance is the moon there.
Yeah.
That's the moon rising
Fantastic.
in the bottom right corner.
That's a
and
keeper.
It is, absolutely. So thank you so much to Philomene for sharing this. And Ryan's picks at cbc.ca, lots in the inbox on this Monday. So thank you so much to everybody for contributing. You can see your forecast for tomorrow looks nice. We got mostly sunny skies, temperatures low to mid 20s, 24 on in a few good spots. It looks like 25 down toward the Keji area for tomorrow. As we look at the future tracker timeline, there's that area of high pressure. How many times have we shown a map that just looks like this?
It's familiar.
Big blue H, lots of clear skies, and then we've got that bit of cloud cover starting to roll in for Thursday. Couple of spotty showers you can see off to the south. It looks like those may creep in Thursday night with a chance for showers. Front comes through Friday. That will bring clouds and showers, the greatest chances in the east and in Cape Breton, with a lingering chance for showers on Saturday in the east with that cool northerly flow keeping temperatures into the mid-teens. So, yeah, a little taste of fall by the time we get to the weekend.
For sure. Okay, thanks, Ryan. Fisheries and Oceans Canada was recently involved in a whale rescue operation off Vancouver Island. And yes, we have the video. Take a look at this.
5-year-old humpback named Tutu was reported to be entangled on September 4th. The marine mammal was found dragging more than 450 feet of debris. The team attached a GPS tag to the trailing gear and eventually managed to safely remove it and free Tutu.
Officials are urging the public to cut looped packaging material before disposing. They also stress the importance of safety disposing stuff so they don't end up in rivers and oceans.
Happy ending for Tutu, though.
Yep.
That's right. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.